Well, polls have now opened across Turkey in a historic referendum on whether to change from a parliamentary system to a presidential one. This is the scene at one polling station in Istanbul. Some 55 million people are eligible to cast their ballots across the country on Sunday. Up to 3 million Turks abroad have already cast their ballots. Well, we have our correspondents stationed all across the country. Hasan Abdullah is in Ankara, and we have Edis Tianshan in Istanbul. Andrew Hopkins is standing by for us in the coastal city of Izmir, and Ali Mustafa is in the southeastern city of Diyarbakir. Well, let's go first to Hasan Abdullah in the capital, Ankara. Hasan, what is happening right now where you are?
Kilmany, I'm at Çankaya High School. This is in the Çankaya district of the capital. There are some 612,000 registered voters in this district alone. Overall, when you look at Ankara, there are some 3.4 million registered voters and 12,335 polling stations across the city. Now, people have started coming in. We're trying to look at the trends. What's interesting is that the early morning voters, the overwhelming majority of them, are the elderly ones, and it seems that the people we've spoken to and checked their preferences, the young voters are probably going to be voting later on in the day. The voters we've spoken to, they are very enthusiastic. Some of them have been campaigning really hard, and now really they are very eager to cast their vote, and they are looking forward and hoping that their side wins.
Very exciting. See a few voters going in there. Hasan, thank you so much for that. Let's go to Edis Tianshan, who's at a polling center in Istanbul. Edis, give us a flavor of what's happening where you are.
Well, Kilmany, it was surprising to see that a group of people were already lining up before even the polling stations opened here in one of the primary schools where I'm right now in the neighborhood of Yeşilköy in Istanbul. I've just spoken to the director of the school earlier. She said that people are very excited in this particular neighborhood, but I think that is the case also across the city in Istanbul, and that many people, those who have to work today or they have something else to do later on in the day, they're already lining up for the polling station as it opened just literally moments ago. Now, all of those early arrivals are already inside casting their votes. And remember that this is going to be a long day because the pollings continue until 5 p.m. local time, except for some of the cities across the Turkey. It will start and finish 1 hour earlier. And remember that thousands of schools like this one are now being used as polling stations. And that's also the reason why schools will be closed tomorrow on Monday. And I'm also saying this is going to be a long day because remember that Istanbul is one of the most densely populated cities in Turkey, one of the most important cities. There are roughly 9.5 eligible voters in this city. It is going to be quite a hustle and bustle. Among the 55 million total constituents, Istanbul make up around 15%, and that's why it's so important. And that's also why Istanbul is seeing extraordinary security measures being taken today. We understand that tens of thousands of security personnel will be on active duty throughout the day, and only after 6 p.m. obviously we will see some results gradually coming in. But as I've said, not only in Yeşilköy but across the city, there's quite a bit of excitement. As I'm also hearing from people, there's expected to be quite a high turnout.
Well, Edis, as you mentioned, they're 15% of the vote. I would imagine that's why a lot of people are trying to get there early to avoid those long queues. Thank you so much for that. Let's go to TRT World's Andrew Hopkins, who's joining me now live from Izmir. Andrew, set the scene for us.
Yeah, Kilmany, I'm outside a high school here in Izmir. This is one of more than 9,000 polling stations in the city and the surrounding area. More than 3 million people here eligible to vote. And it's important to remember about this particular area that it's a stronghold of the main opposition party in Turkey, the Republican People's Party, the CHP. They control the local council here. They have the most MPs. In fact, the west coast of Turkey, which is where we are, is absolutely populated by MPs from this particular party. And it's also important to remember that this area has a strong tradition of voting against the government, the ruling AKP, in other recent constitutional referendums. There was one in 2007 when the country as a whole voted to, in future, directly elect the president. Previously, that had been done by Parliament, but Izmir came out against that. And also in 2010, there was another referendum then. That was to try and reduce the power of the military and also set down some rights and freedoms in writing to try and bring the country in line more with EU regulations. And again, on that occasion, Izmir came out against those too.
Andrew, thank you so much for that. And now let's cross live to TRT World's Ali Mustafa, who's in Diyarbakir and southeast Turkey.
Yes, Kilmany, so it's quite a start here in Diyarbakir. Polls opened earlier in this city compared to other parts of Turkey. And we are in the Yeni Şehir area of Diyarbakir. 1,500 people are registered to vote at this location. As Ediz was mentioning, they've converted schools across Diyarbakir, as they have across Turkey, into polling stations. And normal processes, people come in, they check their names. On lists such as this, each classroom has about 350 people registered. So this one, for example, has around 335 people registered, various other classrooms across. So they're coming in, they're casting their ballots. Up until a few hours ago, there were more policemen here talking about security than voters, but now the numbers seem to be coming in, trickling in slowly. Security is a major concern here in Diyarbakir because the PKK, that outlaw terrorist group, according to the Turkish state, remains a constant threat. Just last week, we saw the PKK carry out an attack at the police headquarters in Diyarbakir, killing 3 people. And a lot is riding on the referendum for both sides. The yes and the no camp say that after the referendum, they want the government to push for peace talks, the peace process with the PKK. The government says that is only possible if the PKK lays down its weapons and its arms unconditionally. Till that happens, there will be no peace process, there won't be any peace talks. Kilmany.
Ali Mustafa there for us in Diyarbakir. Thank you to you, and thank you to all of our correspondents who are scattered across the country to bring us this comprehensive coverage on referendum day as Turks head to the polls in this very, very historic vote. For more coverage of the referendum, you can go to our website, trtworld.com/Turkey's Choice. There you're going to find everything that you need to know about today's vote. And on Twitter, it's #Turkey's Choice.